and in this video we will knit the yoke with the raglan increases, the color changes and the cables. So I just slipped the stitch marker on the right needle, and normally if we would do a simple in the round sweater, we would, after we finish the first round, we will just continue with the second round by knitting these stitches, and we will continue in round, always knitting in the same way. But here, as we are doing an Intarsia colorwork, it's a bit different, because to knit that part of the sweater, we said that we're going to use that strand of yarn. And to knit that part here, we need to use this one. So if we just continue the round normally, it would mean we would need to bring that one here to use it, which would mean we would have like a big loop on the inside of the work, and that could create holes between each color. So instead of doing that, we will turn the work and continue on knitting on the other way, as if we would do if we were knitting flat. So which means we will purl there. So as we will change the way we will knit, when we will arrive here, you see, this yarn that we need to use for that part of the sweater will be available. And you will probably understand better when we will have more bigger parts of the different colors. So, as I just said, we need to turn the work and start purling. But if we simply turn the work and started purling like this with this stitch, it would mean that this part, these two parts wouldn't be connected anymore, and we will have like two separate part, as if we were knitting flat. So to solve that problem, we will do what is called a wrap and turn. So all you need to do is, before turning your work, so we still have the front of the work in front of us, and the yarn is on the back of the needle because we were doing knit stitches, you will slip the first stitch of the next round here. You will bring your yarn in the front by passing it through between the both needles, and you slip that stitch back here. Okay, so your yarn is going through between these two stitches here, and now you can turn the work. You can turn the work and you will purl your first stitch. So as you can see, we call it wrap and turn because this stitch is wrapped by the yarn that we use, and then so we wrap that stitch and then we turn the work, and that will make that these two stitches will be linked, and we won't have the separation that we would have if we didn't do the wrap and turn. As we turn the work, we will need to now purl off all the stitches, because the back of the work is not now facing us. So we will do purl stitches until reaching. So we'll do now. Now the chart indicates that we have to purl 2 stitches with the second color. So I will need to purl that here, that one with that color. But here again, to avoid having a hole between these two parts here, we need to be careful that this strand of yarn here, it's catched into by this one. So what we need to do is to make sure that this one goes over this one. So we make it go first under it, and then we put it over it, and we can purl this stitch, and we can pull a little bit here, and you can see here that it's catched by that color. We need the second one, and then we purl, and then we need to purl the other stitches with the first color again, but with the second ball of the first color. So again, the same, we need to make sure that when we purl using this one, we need to make sure that the previous yarn we were using is catched into it. So we make it go underneath it and over it again, so we can see that both are twisted. I pull a little bit, and I can continue the purls. Then I need to switch the color again, and I need to use that one. So again, I make it go under it, under the previous one I was using, and over it again, so both are twisted. I purl 2, and then I change the color again. This time I will be using that thread of white, so I make it go under the last one, over it again, so it creates a twist. I pull, and now I can finish the round by purling. So I almost finished the round. I pulled the stitches of the sleeves, but I just didn't purl this one yet, because if you remember, when we started the round, we made a wrap and turn. So this stitch was wrapped in the yarn, and this wrap created here a loop that you can see here. That's the yarn we used to wrap the stitch. And we don't want that, because it would make the wrap and turn visible with some loops on the right side of the work. So to solve that problem, we will pick up this loop that was created by the wrap. We pick it up and put it on the left needle. So now we have these two stitches here, and you can see that they are twisted. This one is going over this one, so we will just pull that stitch underneath it, so they are not wrapped. So we just have two stitches now that we will pull together. Now we don't have the loop created by the wrap and turn anymore. So we finished the round, so we slip the stitch marker, and for the same reasons as before, the Intarsia technique forces us to turn the work and work now on the right side of the work, because the yarn that we will need to knit that part of the work is now here, so we cannot just simply bring it here, so we need to go back this way. So we will do the same as before. So we will do a wrap and turn. So now we have the wrong side facing us and the yarn is in front of the needles because we were purling before. So we will simply slip that stitch, make that yarn go on the back side behind the needles, and we slip that stitch back here, we slip the marker, and we can now turn the work and start knitting. So again, you can see here the yarn is going between these two stitches, which will make this stitch wrapped in the yarn, and that will allows us to have these two parts of the knitting linked together and avoid having a hole again. So we will knit that one, and yeah, you can see here the loop that is created by the wrap and turn that we will need to make disappear once we will arrive here, like we just did for this one. Make a left leaning increase, so from the front to the back, and knitting the back loop. And I will continue following the pattern. I slip the marker. Now I need to knit one with the second color, so every time we change the color, remember we have to twist the yarns. So I need to knit with this one, and I was before knitting with that one, so I will make the new yarn go under it. We will create that loop to make sure that the yarn we were using is wrapped in the new one. We knit one, and now we need to make a left leaning increase because we are one stitch after the marker. So from the front to the back, and we knit the back loop, and we continue like this following the charts. So again, a change of color, so now I need to use that one. So I have to make sure that when I knit, this one is wrapped by this one. So I can see that if I just knit like this, it will be fine because it's well blocked now here. You can see. Making it sound like I'm not there for you. Normally it should be easy to know which strand of yarn you need to use because it's just the next one that you see. I don't stand a chance without you, girl. It's not like you have to be somewhere right now. Are you crying? Feels like just a day or maybe two since I last saw you, but now I won't come back around, girl. You're not crying. I almost finished the round. I'm now one stitch before the marker indicating the end of the round. So as I said before, here we have a loop that we don't want, that is due to the wrap and turn. So we need to get rid of that by picking that loop, and we will bring it on the left needle like this. And now we have two stitches. We see that they are twisted though, so we will untwist them by pulling that one under it. So we have these two stitches that are not twisted. And now we will do an SSK. We could do a knit two together, but an SSK is more clean. So an SSK is, we slip that stitch, we knit this one, it's a bit tight, we knit that one, and the stitch that we just slipped, we will make it go over the first one and get it out of the needle. Yeah, so now we solved the wrap and turn problem. We will continue following the charts and the indication in the pattern. So every time you finish a round, you will always need to make a wrap and turn to start the next round, as I just explained and as we just did. So we need to do that for every round. At the end of every one, we always need to solve the wrap and turn problem as we just did. And we always need to make sure to twist the yarns when changing the color. And if you remember all that, everything will be fine, and everything is indicated in the pattern anyway. So I will make the wrap and turn. So I slip that one, I bring my yarn on the front side of the work, I slip my yarn again, I slip my stitch marker, and I turn the work, and I can start the next round. So continue like this, and I will knit every round until the round number 5, where I will show you how to make the cables.
Feels like just a day or maybe two since I last saw you, but now I